before we kick into what Paula's going to read out, there was something that she was talking about earlier about the blue lights coming through the ceiling. It got her, grabbed her, lifted her up. Now, I don't know what this was, but Dave has just been downstairs and we had this little chat. Paula heard it. We had between the three of us of what I'm going to tell you now. And he was like, oh, yeah, I remember that. It was weird, was that? So, like Paula said, the light it was like it came through the ceiling, so it couldn't see where it was coming from. Now, in our old house, before we moved here, we were in bed, we were watching television, and all of a sudden I noticed that the curtain had a green light on it. So we had like cream curtains, and it was like a big rounded edged square of green light that was on the curtains. Now, if it had come from outside, there would have been this silhouette of some books that I had on the windowsill, some other bits and bobs. I can't remember what was on it, but there would have been an interruption there, and it wouldn't have gone on further than where the windowsill ended because the window wouldn't be there. So it was it covered the whole of the curtain. Was about, oh well, you're not going to see it anyway. It was wide and covered the curtain. So I'm looking at the curtains and saying to Dave, "What's that?" We had the TV on, and there was a vase on the like a chest of drawers to the right of us. There was a vase on it. So I thought, oh, I wonder if it's something from the TV coming, like shining off the vase because it's glass.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, no, because it wouldn't be green. It wouldn't be all green, and it wouldn't be perfectly square, and it would change and it would flicker with the TV. So we just sort of sat there looking at it and then looking at the TV and then looked up. And on the ceiling, there was like an oblong of light, and it was started off by the wall where there was like a cupboard, which incidentally Dave saw Gray come running out of one day and put his hand on his face. That one of the when they make your brain buzz.
Yeah.
So anyway, that cupboard, and it was like on the ceiling, and it just really slowly moved across. I mean, we just sat there watching it, like got up and looked, try and figure it out, walking around the room, like, what is it? And no matter where we went, we didn't cast a shadow on this green.
Yeah.
So if it was coming from something reflecting, when we stood in front of it, it would have caused a shadow. You would have seen us. So that didn't happen.
Yeah.
The green light maybe took 5 minutes to slowly move across the ceiling to the bedroom door right next to us, and we were just like, what? That was weird, so we don't know where that light came from.
You weren't compelled to get up and
no, I got up and we walked around the bed and tried to figure it out and looked out the window because there's some lads lived over the road, and Chris, we thought he had a green like a green laser pen. Like I say, if it had come from outside, we would have seen the silhouette of the things on the windowsill, and it would have stopped at the windowsill. It wouldn't have gone down further and lower than the windowsill. So the light source was coming from inside the room somehow, but also wasn't, because wherever we went, nothing interrupted it and it didn't break it. And what the green light that moved across the ceiling was, don't know, because yet again, if it was a vase and the TV, it would flicker and it would stay put. It would just stay where it was. It wouldn't move unless the vase was moving. So that's a light thing that what you said made me write scribble a little thing down, because what was that?
Yeah.
It wasn't a ghost. It wasn't a ghostly thing. It was a technological thing. Whatever it was that created that was a technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? I don't know. That's where that story ends.
That's it.
Mad.
But there's so much, even, I've said some really small things that have happened, but it's of a big significance, even the smallest things I've talked about.
Yeah.
So I'll get on to age 46 now. So I've done all my 43s. 44. At 45 I did have one, but I don't know why I've mixed it up. But anyway, so I'm on to this where I wrote it. Some of them I have done. I've wrote them.
You woke up, the first thing you did was write this down.
Right, so I wrote it up straight away. So Wednesday, 12th of October, 2016. Went to bed at 9 p.m. 20 past. I don't know why I've put that in. 20 past in. Oh, at 20 past, turned the light out. Covered myself over with blankets, still awake. I heard something like a shuffling right next to me on my left side. So I always, when I go to bed, I always sleep on my right side. So whatever it was would be behind me. Yeah. Shuffling to the right side of me on my left side. Then the same thing on my right side. Although I was fully awake, I was not compelled to open my eyes. Immediately, I saw a flash. Right? I was in a field. No trees present, a craft, disc in shape, with what looked like legs. It says something, perhaps, 3 or 4 legs on the ground. You wouldn't have thought in this day and age you'd have legs on craft, but, you know, never mind. Anyway, a grey tall was stood in front of us, but slightly to the right. On his right was a long, slim, spidery looking figure. It looked like a spider, but it kind of moved to person stance. Spidery looking figure, but not a spider. Another grey was to my left, and he was communicating with the grey opposite on my right, talking, but I can't recall what was being said, in brackets telepathically. I was then instructed to remember what the grey to my left was telling me. I have no idea. But to no avail could I remember from the moment he told me, and I was getting upset. So it's the same scenario as when I was in the woods and I was sitting down and saying, remember. So he's telling me to remember something. So whether it were a word, it's told me something, I can't remember this bit.
Yeah.
I was getting really upset, started crying. Then I blacked out. I came to with a feeling of lightly being bounced on my bed. So I'd kind of fallen into the bed. I woke around 2 a.m. Find myself on my back. Again, I don't sleep on my back. With my arms crossed. Once again, like that. Just like at Anne Andrews. I was taken, just like the incident at Anne Andrews when I was taken out of the window. I never sleep on my back, as this causes excruciating pain in my lower back. That's it. I don't remember how else after that.
Interesting about the crossed arms.
I have no idea because it's happened twice, one at Anne Andrews and one at home. So
I can't remember how I woke up when I was at Anne's. I just remember waking up and sitting up. I don't know. Just sat up on the edge of the bed, thinking, "What the fuck? What the fuck?"
I don't know why they crossed arms. It's like
I don't remember.
Really don't know that one. I really don't. For one, I'm not one for having my arms out at bed or my legs because something might bite my feet.
Yeah.
Stuff might come from underneath. So
he's freaking out because the light's not on. Why is everything different? What is happening?
Yeah. Why have you turned the light out?
Yeah.
So next one is awake. I woke up somehow. I don't even remember going to sleep, but I woke up somehow with my legs on the floor, sat up straight with my legs on the floor. I was naked, totally naked. And I saw a grey to my right. I suddenly get a bad headache. I mean, but it was right in the core, right in, like a little fucking circle right in the centre of your head, and it's going boom, boom. Not a temple headache, not there, not a migraine. It's in the core. And I says to him telepathically, why the fuck do you always give me headache? Always. Remember that word, always. I don't recall any other time when they've given me headache. And he put really gently, he kind of stepped back a bit and really slowly just put his hand on there, really slow and gentle, and my headache just went, just went. And in that, it wasn't like I blacked out. I was just drifting, and I went boom. To me, I was going to sleep, just like you're drifting off when you're going to sleep. It was just that. So I ain't blacked out. It was like, you know, like a healing thing.
Dreams.
Pardon?
Falling asleep in your dreams.
Yeah, it was like a bit similar to that, yeah. But it was like, heal. Why do you have to always give me headache?
Yeah, interesting choice of language.
If I just don't remember any other time that I got headache.
Yeah.
But that's just so small, but it's a big part of it, you know. So, and would you like to fit out in there while we?
No, can't think of anything particularly apart from that I'd like to chop my hand off. This hand and this elbow today, they're just like peachy.
Oh. So now on to my final encounter up to date. So I've had that encounter, so it's 46, 4-year gap, well, 3-year gap now. So I'm now down to age 49, age 49. So went camping with my friend Bryn, and he used to go camping all the time up in Lake District. And I'd said to him, come on, it's a lovely night. Oh, the stars. I mean, you're in the mountains, basically. Anyone who knows Lake District, you know that there's absolutely no light pollution whatsoever. So it's like 1 star per fucking centimetre, you know what I mean? And when it's a crescent moon, you can totally see the outline of the rest of the moon. And we'd driven up right up to the top now, what we call Kirkstone Pass. So people who are totally aware at Lake District will know this road and how desolate it is. And we'd driven right to the top to near this pub that is called the Kirkstone Pass Inn. And where we was overlooking Windermere, so we could see all the lights, and you know what I mean. And Windermere, couldn't see the lakes. Obviously, this is like middle at night. We're talking like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was a very, very still night. No wind, no cloud, nothing. It was just so still. On its way back, there's like a car park, just a little car park, and it's for when like you're going to climb. There's a mountain called Red Screes, and then usually park there to get out, to walk up the road a bit, to start climbing up this mountain. And we'd seen a camper van and a little girl playing outside. And I said to Brain, it's a bit late for that little kid to be playing outside. And she had, I remember what she had on, it were a dress, because our headlights had caught, you know, that the way that we were coming round bend has caught this, what was in that car park. And the camper van door were open, didn't see any adults. I thought, well, fair enough, they're on holiday, you know. And there's this little girl, and she had a right old-fashioned dress on. And I don't know if that have any significance, I don't know.
Describe it.
It was white, it looked white in our headlights. It had puffy sleeves, you know, like that. It had a belt round that bit there, because I remember she turned round from facing and looking up at this kind of edge of mountain, whatever she were looking at. It had a belt tied round the back, a big bow. You know what I mean? So when she turned forward, then I got the glimpse of how it went in there where the belt would go. And to me, that were really old-fashioned, you know.
Like I described on the little girl that was with the reptilian, maybe.
Yeah, a very Victorian type thing. I saw no parents. They might have been in camper van, I'm sure. I don't know what you were looking at.
Yeah, what? I'll have to draw the drawings and you have to see if there's anything like.
Yeah, if you see me touching my nose, it's because I've got psoriasis there, people, you know, and it's really itchy and annoying. So anyway, and I said to Bryn, I said, God, that's a bit late for that little girl to be stood out there on her own. But it was like as if she had her back to us and she's looking up at this mountain. You can't see out. It's pitch fucking black. Without our lights bending round the corner like that, if we'd carried on, she wouldn't have been able to see a bloody thing. You know what I mean? So why she was facing where looking up in first place, I don't know. And she had this kind of long hair that flowed down her back. That were weird as it was. So we carries on going down road and we parks up. And I said, oh, look, moon is between the mountains, right? So the mountains are like that, moon's just here, and it were a crescent shape, and it were just about to go down, and I got my binoculars out. So we're not parked in a car park, but we parked right as far in as we could for a narrow road. Yeah. And I'm just looking at this moon. I've got my window right down, and he's got his binoculars. He's looking out of his side at window. At one point, he'd got out, and they were like that. And I were getting a bit panicky. And I said, no, get back in. Now, why I'd get panicky, I've no idea why. That moment of like panic, get back in car, get back in, you know. And because I've never been fearful of going up there, up to Lake District. I've been that many times camping. We've even camped on his own in a field in the middle of nowhere. So anyway, he gets back in, you know, and he puts radio on a bit, really low and that. And you know, the mirrors that you lift down as, you know, on your passenger side as a visor, but they don't always have little mirrors, but they have a little, what I call a beauty, where you can switch it and it lights up, you know, and take a bit lippy on. Anyway, I pulled it down for some reason. I don't know why, because it's not like I could see myself. It's dark. So why the hell would I pull that down? You know, no logic whatsoever. And I pulled it down. And I looks like this and I see this tiny red dot behind, right? And I went like that. Looks out at back window. Didn't take much notice of it. So I'm there with my binoculars again like that. And I looked again. It kind of, I must have seen it at a certain angle. And I looked again. And this red dot, which I thought was a car going backwards, was going down this country lane. It wasn't a bike. It was off the ground, if you know what I mean. But with every contour of the road, it did the same. If you're going to be on a bike, right, so the wall is pretty high. Where there is wall or a fence is pretty high because you've got like a stream at one side. And there's that many accidents on that road, you know, some walls being broken down because of cars going through it. But if it was a bike, within them walls, I wouldn't have been able to see that light, you know, this little red light. So it was way above. They were, like I said, following it were really fast. And I said, Bryn, look out your back window, quick, look out your mirror. I said, why is that car going that fast? How can anyone reverse that fast down the road? I couldn't get my head round it. For one, it were a red light. If it were a reverse light, it'd be white.
Yeah.
Two, that this was just bright. It was crimson bright, not red. It was crimson bright. And it was just, and I really don't know. I mean, I don't even, if it went past us, I don't know. It was like I'd switched off at that. At some point, I'd switched it, you know, no, say, no, it's gone past us. Nothing. Anyway, that bit's out that way. It's like a forgotten about incident within seconds. I'm back to looking out at binoculars at moon. And as moon's going down, it's getting more orange. Right? So, and I said, oh, look at beautiful. It's beautiful. Now we're still parked up, same position, but I've got the fence next to me, you know, and then there's I am at the wall bit, I'm at the fence bit. And I've got the river, stream, whatever you call it, and then straight mountain up. And fly, you know, them little tiny little flies that bug you. Anyway, and I put my binoculars down and I'm looking straight ahead. I don't know what I was looking at. I don't know. Out of my peripheral, I thought the car was moving forward. You know, when you sat in a car park, but you like on your phone or whatever, and a car moves. So if it goes forward, it feels like you're going back.
Like sitting on a train when the other train moves and you think it's you moving, but it's not.
You know that feeling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the first instant was, we're moving. So I looked up right quick and realised we're not moving. It was just so weird. And I saw this slight movement. So my door is there, my mirror's there, and about a foot away is, when I looked like that, was I called it a pole. It looked like a pole that were walking. And it's a pole about a foot away. I went, fuck, like this, screamed at him, start engine, go. And this thing stopped. Right, all I could see was it was like a body, so I couldn't see any arms, I couldn't see any legs, but it were a grey thing. And at start engine, I'm screaming at him and I'm hitting him like this, and he's saying, "What the fucking hell's up with you?" I said, "Go!" Like this. I mean, when I was screaming, I was proper screaming, and he couldn't start the engine because I was panicking. You know what I mean? We're like because I was panicking because he didn't know what the hell was going on. And during this time, you are
done it to me. Punch me and start screaming. I was
like, no. Anyway, so this pole thing, it's like still stood there. He got the engine started eventually. He's going fucking hell like this. He ain't got a clue what was going on. He's panicking because I am. You know what I mean? And this thing carries on really slow, walking past. And I watched it. I went like that. And I watched it until it was out of sight. All I remember from there, I know he started the engine. I can hear it. All I can remember from that bit is being driving back into the campsite. So there's about a mile and a half between where we're parked and the campsite, yeah? So we were like, all I remember is driving them from the top of the campsite down, gets out, gets me binoculars. Now, this is where it gets even weirder. I gets me binoculars out. We silently goes, now, the night before, this happened, it were really, really, really bad weather. Really bad. So we ended up staying in bunkhouse. You know, one of them bunkhouses where you'll have, like, it's a barn, converted barn.
Bunk barn.
A converted
So
barn, it's like
camping inside an old barn, basically.
Yeah, but it's like sleeps 4 people. You've got a shared kitchen, and you've got your own little toilet sink, but you know, it's tiny. You can't even turn round in it. If you want to shower, you've got to go on outside. So he silently goes, didn't mention it, not compelling to say nothing. We just silently walked out of the car, straight to the bunkhouse. And I get up in the morning, and this morning we were ready to set off because we'd booked, you know, I think this was second nights. We'd only slept 2 nights because the bunkhouse were a lot more expensive than the actual camping. So we get up next morning, and I get ready to go. We're still silent, you know what I mean? I don't know why. And then I said, where the fucking hell's my case for my binoculars? I'm really precious over these binoculars, you know what I mean? I have to have the caps on them. If I lose them, I'll go mad. I don't want them scratched. I don't want dust on them, you know, or in them, you know. So he said, I don't know. He said, you had them last night. I said, you didn't borrow them. He says, because he had a pair of really old metal ones. He says, well, no. He says, you had yours. I had mine. I was looking at it that way. And then it clicked, and I says, do you remember that red light last night? And he went, yeah, I do. Like this, but it kind of, that was it, right? So I am searching high and low for this bag with the caps for the lenses, you know, 4 of these caps. For the lenses, it was a 4-bedroom thing. He slept at one end, I slept at other. And I am lifting mattresses up. They're only thin mattresses. I was lifting it up. I was lifting out sheets. I'd stripped that room bare. Bearing in mind, there's only 2 rooms. There's a tiny little bathroom and this long 4 single bed room. Stripped it high and low. I could not find the case or the caps for the binoculars. So we get the stuff, gets to the car. I thought, oh, well, maybe they're in car. Nope, they're not in car. They're not anywhere near campsite. We drives up, back up the road. Now, I remember when I got them binoculars out looking at moon, that I remember that I'd put the caps in the bag, close the bag, because I don't want the caps getting dust on them either. Closes the bag, puts it by my feet. Nowhere to be seen, nowhere. So to this day, cannot find that bag. Did it get taken? I don't know.
Yeah, they do nick stuff.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah. They do. When I stayed at Brenda Butler's in 2005, I had a similar thing to you and Anne's when gone to Brenda's with John Hanson and downstairs in the kitchen, and she's got all these boards with all the pictures on and everything. So we were looking at that, and I could feel like something going around me, like, you know, making your hair move a little bit, like a wind. Yeah. And then Brenda noticed that I was kind of looking around. She says, I can feel that as well. And then all of a sudden, something just landed on my head. And obviously I was a little bit freaked out because this is 2005. I didn't know anything about anything. And all I knew was what I'd been through, you know, and a few people. So I went to bed that night and stayed in their bedroom at the top of the stairs. And I was so superstitious. I had a rosary bead and I had it wrapped around my hand 3 times. I had the cross in the palm of my hand, right? And I had a big piece of blue kyanite crystal and I put it underneath my pillow. Like, I don't know why, but I put it underneath my pillow and lay down to go to sleep. And as I lay down, because it was like, it wasn't a quilt, it was several blankets. So I felt them sort of slide off because they're quite heavy. So I went like that and I pulled it back, and something pulled the cover. So I pulled it back like that, like just
Get
out
off.
of, just like a total, I don't know, automatic reaction. And it got snatched so fast out of my hands. I just sort of threw myself down on my side and I went, leave me alone. Then the next thing, something's got hold of my feet and it's gone, poof, super fast like that, moved, and I can feel all the hair at the back of my head. It's all pulling on the pillow. But at the bottom of the bed, it's a single bed. At the bottom of the bed were two folded chairs jammed between the bed and the wall, and there was a window. There was this awful, scary rabbit thing with a plastic face that looked evil. But I don't think it was the rabbit. Whatever it was, I went through a brick wall and didn't feel a thing. I woke up in the morning. The rosary bead isn't on my hand. The rosary's not on my hand. It's underneath my pillow, and the blue crystal's gone. Brenda has never put that crystal. I know exactly where it was. It's not fallen on the floor, gone under the bed. She has like a shelf unit next to the bed with loads of Native American kind of stuff on it. It's not gone under there. It was nowhere. They stole, whatever that was that took me from Brenda Butler's house, stole my crystal.
Like I now, because I always blamed Bryn for losing that bag. But when I sat and thought about it, and I thought it was me that fucking had it. He had his own, because at that moment, there's no logic there. You know what I mean? So when we got back, a few days later, I rung him up, or he come to mine to drop some backy off or whatever, and we discussed it. And he said, there's no way that light, that crimson red light, could have been a bicycle. It was too high up. It was literally, 10 feet in sky, but following Contour Road really fast.
Follow a dangerous road like that at that speed.
It's one at dangerous in Lake District besides Rhinos Pass. Kirkstone Pass and Rhinos Pass are the most dangerous roads in Lake District. And it's not going to be fucking Elliot on his bike with ET, is it? You know what I mean? So
you should say that, because Paul Sinclair's seen a white light doing a similar thing on Bempton Cliffs. That won't be seen in a basket either.
Contour of the road. So them in the camper van, either I'm imagining them in the camper van, or this girl just didn't fit in with anything what we're going round and looking up into darkness at a mountain, or had she already seen something that I hadn't seen, that a dress didn't make sense. Fair enough, some people like to dress the kids, like the name the kids, old-fashioned names, and some people do like to dress the kids like that, but no, it seemed to fit from that moment, that we were driving past that camper van. And that pole, now I think it were a grey, because don't forget, I'm only seeing things, between window. I didn't have it fully wound down, so there's that much that I could, enough for me to get,
when you described it, it made me think of you describing it when it came out of that orange donut light. It was distorted and tall. And also, when I saw the reptilians, the shadow things come out of Jason, when that thing grew out of the side of it and it dropped, and it should have dropped straight. It did drop straight down, because I saw it drop straight down. It should have landed somewhere near Jason. It landed at my feet. I literally saw it drop straight down like that. So 12 feet away from me, how can it be at my feet? It didn't come at an angle. It dropped straight down. There's something funky. I remember having a piece of paper and bending it, like trying to figure out how on earth it could drop straight down but be at my feet. I was trying to like create my own light waves with a piece of paper, just because it just leaves you with a conundrum. Every single one of them leaves you with a conundrum, doesn't it? Like, how can that be? It's that little beanpole grey that sort of came forward and then ended up being like a short normal one.
I'd I'd like to know what that spider thing was, though, you know, and the one that I read out.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that was, spider-like thing. But
I don't know if I saw something that was like, oh my God, it was massive. Its feet were this wide, and they kind of, it like had all these weird joints so that it could move. It looked like a toy basically, and it had all these spikes coming out of the back of it as its tail came right down along, and all these spikes were coming out of it like that. And it had this weird like hammerhead shark head, right? And it was all dark olive green. And I knew that that could straighten itself and stand, instead of being on all fours, could stand up, and that those spikes would all fit neatly into each other and form a hard shell, like an armor.
Yeah.
But it was, as it was down, it was walking in, it was a bit, I can't describe it. It sounds insane, but that was when I saw the shark skinned thing that I knew was for me, that I was supposed to get in that. It sounds insane. I know how it sounds.
I can understand why people don't believe us. I can really understand it, because I can't fucking understand it myself. So
I'll believe it. Like with that, I'm like, well, must have been a dream, but it was like waking up in the middle of a motorway. Boom, loads of activity, loads of noise, choo 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 choo, and then looking around, and
you've got this
big grey panel with 3 greys stood at it, and you know what I mean, it was busy, it was alive, it was like full on. I could feel everything going through my body, you know, like literally like waking up standing in the middle of a motorway.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So I'm not going to get onto eyes this time. I'll make that next time in a few days. Because then we can collaborate as stories together there.
It's there's two long accounts here that actually
it's too long to go into now. So.
Yeah, it will explain helmets, clothes, internal organs. Felt like there was something at the window then. The eyes, how they're affected by light and sound. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. So we've well, it's like 40 minutes nearly on this one. So it's I think what I might do is even figure out how to glue them all together, so it's just one. We've got a video that is just one long one without any mistakes. Yeah, and the
thing and the UFO pictures. I mean, I've got a few myself as well as you. So, you know, there's a account of me abductions. Yeah, it's gone on for hours. That's because that's how many I've had. Some are small, some are big. You know, but they're all significant somewhere. And that's it for them. But, you know, that's a couple of years ago I've had that. You know, my last encounter, that was not a couple of years ago, sorry, that was last year. That was my last account. So
we've all got our gained time event that we had together.
We've got and that as well.
We've gained about 40 minutes time somehow.
Yeah.
So next time.
So in a couple of days we'll do that part where we talk about, you know, how the eyes work, these, you know what I mean, your body.
Why they wear clothes, why they wear a helmet, how their eyes work. Yeah.
Yeah. So
cliffhanger. Yeah. All right then. We shall call it. I thought it wasn't recording then. I just looked at the thing, I thought, oh my God, but it is.
It says recording.
All right. We'll see you next time then, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.